Hi everyone, good morning and good evening. Let's start our today's session. Today we will execute a simple outbound scenario, all right? And we will configure the stock removal strategy for outbound. Okay. So in our last session, we discussed in detail about the outbound process, different documents used in the outbound process, and the difference between the decentralized and embedded EWM from outbound process point of view. Okay, so let's execute a simple outbound process. So now we will check the stock in ERP as well as in EWM. So in ERP, it is MMBE. So stock of a particular product, 264 in ERP now first, and the stock in EWM. So as you can see here, in ERP, the unrestricted stock which is available in AFS storage location is 335, and quality inspection stock in AFS is 4 pieces. On order stock in this particular plant is 90 pieces, and 1 piece as quality inspection in AFS storage location. Right? So this is the inventory status. Now let's check in EWM. So we need to make sure that the stock in stock should be synced between these two systems. So now the stock in EWM. So stock in EWM. So let's open the monitor to check stock in EWM. So /n/SCWM/monitor. So now warehouse is 8901, and let's select the standard monitor and continue. The stock overview. Stock overview and the product 264. Perform search. So you can see here in EWM, this is the stock, and let's check the total available stock. Total stock 340. Out of 340, 1 piece blocked stock and 4 pieces quality inspection stock out of 340. So same stock is also available here in ERP. Out of total 340, 335 plus 4 plus 1 block stock. So total 340. So out of 340, 335 unrestricted for quality inspection, 1 block. So same thing here. Out of 340, 1 is blocked for quality inspection, and the remaining 335 unrestricted. Okay. Now the stock is seen in both the system. Okay. So now the first document. So as we know that we can start the outbound process with a reference to the sales order, right? So here I'm going to create a sales order. So the sales order. So for the sales order, the transaction code to create sales order is VA. So it is in SD module. All right. So here the sales order is created. So the sales order creation. So the process begins. So the outbound process begins with the creation of a sales order in SAP ERP. All right. So here the ERP system which we are using is EWM. So the this order triggers the need for outbound delivery. So first, let's create a sales order. VA01. And of course, before we create a sales order, we need a customer. So we have not yet created customer. So let's create a customer first. So a BP, Control N. So in SAP S/4HANA, a BP is created for any entity with which we have a business relationship. So with customers, we have a sales business relationship. So we need to create a BP with a role customer. So let's create a BP, right? So now assuming that our BP is an organization. So as we know, whenever we are creating a BP, we have to select a category like a person, organization, or a group. If we are dealing with an individual, like in case of B2C, where one business deals with a customer and user, right? So then it is person. If we are dealing with an organization, then organization or group of organizations, then the group. So here, let's say Accenture Federal Services is one of the customers of our company code Amazon. So currently, our company code is Amazon. Okay, so here I'm assuming that Accenture Federal Services is the customer of Amazon. So let's try to get some information related to Accenture Federal Services. Right, so the address, detail, address. Right, so listen, this is the address. So now let's maintain the detail. So Accenture Federal Services is an organization. So the applicable BP category is organization. Then the applicable roles. So this with this particular BP, we would like to execute sales transactions. Hence, customer roles are applicable. So as discussed earlier, for customer, there are two rules, FLCU00 and FLCU01. So FLCU00, in this role, general data and company code data, that is accounting data, we maintain. And in another role, FLCU01, general data and sales data. So let's first maintain general data and company code data. So let's create and select the correct BP grouping. So here there is a grouping, right? So let's select this particular grouping which is available for customer. So this is the grouping. So and we need to make sure that for every customer, the system, whenever we are using a particular grouping, the customer account group should also be determined, and it should be with external number range, so that we will have the same number for BP as well as customer. So now let's maintain the address of this particular BP, which is Accenture Federal Services. Accenture Federal Services. Okay, so the address, the search term which we have been using for our objects is 89, right? Then the postal code and details of this particular BP. This is not okay, 800 address. Let's maintain the address. Okay, and uh, Arlington, and then 22203. Right, so country US, USA, and the region is VA. All right. Now let's maintain mandatory information. So master data management team or business users will maintain, business specific details here. Now I'm going to maintain the mandatory fields. All right. Now the address overview, different tabs are available. So now after maintaining the mandatory data, let's maintain accounting data in the company code view. So here, in order to uh, have sales transactions with a particular customer, we have to extend our customer, that is BP, to company code. All right. So I'm extending this BP to company code. Otherwise, what happened if we have a BP just with general data, and if it is not extended to company code or the sales area, then the system will not allow us to issue the sales documents for a particular customer. Now, assign the reconciliation account. Assign the reconciliation account, and now the other details. Example, now customer transactions. Let's say the terms of payment agreed with the supplier is payable immediately, and some more terms, business terms. Let's say the bank payment methods are incoming payments, right? Let's say direct debit. All right, the business information. Now press enter. Let's create the BP. Click on check to validate the data. Now the data of business partner is error free. So we can go ahead and save a business partner with a role FLCU00. And in this role, general data and company code data is maintained. Save. So now you can see a business partner 53003 is created. So in order to issue sales document to a business partner with a role customer, so the business partner must be extended to sales area. So in order to extend, we have to apply the role FLCU01. So currently it is in display mode, switch to change mode. Now it is in change mode. We can apply another role FLCU01, and in this role, general data and sales data is maintained. So general data, we have already maintained the mandatory data. Now we can directly maintain sales data in the sales. So here, let's extend this particular BP to our sales area. So we have the sales, SD organizational structure we have already set up. So this is our sales organization, distribution channel, and the division. So it is 8901, 81, and 81. So this is the one of the sales areas which we have set up. Now I'm trying to extend this BP to this particular sales area. So now press enter. Now let's maintain the details related to this one from order point of view, billing point of view, and shipping, billing, and partner functions. Right. So partner functions are also applied. Now let's go ahead and save this BP. So changes have been saved. So a new BP Accenture Federal Services is created. So now we will issue sales documents like sales order for this Accenture Federal Services. So in our outbound process, the first document, sales order. So Control N, new window. So let's switch this BP to display mode. The BP is created. So VA01, so it is SD transaction. So in sales and distribution, sales order VA01, create sales order. Okay. So here we will be using the standard document type for sales order. So a number of document types are available. So let's use the standard document type OR for sales order, OR, standard order. And the organizational data, that is our sales area, 8901, 81, and 81. And the Accenture Federal Services is extended to this particular sales area. Now press enter. So this is the create sales order transaction screen. So as we know, we have 335 quantity as unrestricted use. So this is the quantity which is available for sale. The quantity which is under quality inspection and the quantity which is blocked is not available for sale. So the quantity which is available for sale is unrestricted use, right? So here, if we check in EWM, so all the F2 stock is the stock which is actually available for sale. So here, if we check our warehouse layout, this is our warehouse layout. So in this warehouse, the stock of this particular material is available in 0010 storage type and 0050 storage type. So let's check. The stock is available in 0010 and 0050. So in 0050, 108, and the remaining stock is in 0010. So stock is available here in these storage types. So to these storage types, the availability group 001 is assigned, and 001, to these storage types, the availability group 002 is assigned, and 002 is assigned to AFS storage location. All right. So that is the reason why when the stock is within these storage types in ERP, it will reflect in AFS. Okay. Till now it is correct. So the data is sync. So it is in AFS. No more stock in ROD. So as you can see here in EWM also, no more stock in other storage locations, only in other storage types, only in 0010 and in 0050. So now we will pick up from 0050 storage type because this is our primary area and 0010 is our reserve area. So during replenishment, the stock, so the primary area was replenished. So the stock was picked from 0010 and moved to 0050. So this reserve area is actually for put away and primary area is for picking. Right. So in case if the stock is not available in primary area, then from reserve area. Okay. So first, I will execute simple inbound without stock removal strategy. So I will manually enter the picking bin. All right. And then we will configure a stock removal strategy for stock removal from outbound point of view. Earlier, while discussing about replenishment, the stock removal strategy was configured from replenishment point of view to to pick the stock from reserve area, right? To pick the stock from reserve area. So now let's create a sales order. A sales order. Okay. Create a sales order. So if we check the process flow of this one, so we will be creating a sales order, and yes, so it's a sales order. And then with reference to sales order, ERP outbound delivery. Let me disconnect and reconnect the remote desktop again. Right. So now the sales order. This is the sales order screen. I'm just again going back. All right. So create sales order, VA01. Standard document type for sales order OR, and our sales area 8901, 81, 81. So if we refer SDKDS, so this is sales organization, distribution channel, and division. So let's create a sales order. Since we have the stock available, so we can deliver to customer. Okay. So the customer, which is just created, so with a search term 89, Accenture Federal Services. Now let's consider. So we can see here Accenture Federal Services, which is just created. So let's say this is the customer ordered 10 pieces of whatever the product of any quantity, right? Then the customer reference. So what happened? The sales orders are created with a reference to purchase order of the customer, or that is the demand of the customer. So if we look at the procure to pay cycle and the order to cash cycle here, so procure to pay cycle from point of view, and order to cash cycle from SD point of view. So here the procurement process. So you can see here. Yes, so as soon in order to fulfill the customer requirement, so customer first of all issue a purchase order, right? And in order to deliver to the customer with reference to sales order of our customer, so the sales team will create a sales order, and then the deliver the goods. So if a sales order is created, then in order to deliver the goods, outbound delivery, and if it is EWM managed, then the outbound delivery is processed within EWM. So now the sales order, assuming that the customer has issued a purchase order. So based on the customer demand, in order to process the customer demand, the sales order is being created. So let's say this is the purchase order number of our customer, and the customer reference date, the date on which the customer has issued the order. Let's say this is on 4th of this month. Then the payment terms. Let's assume this is the payment term which is applicable. Incoterm if applicable. All right. Then the material. So assume the customer has ordered this particular material, 264, and we have 335 quantity available. 264 is the material, 264. Assume customer has ordered 10 pieces. Then specify the plant, from which plant we are going to deliver to customer. So the plant is 8901. 8901 plant New York, right? So, and what the sales price? So this is, I think, which product it is, bottle 1 liter. Okay, bottle 1 liter. So let's say the sales price is $2, for example. Okay. Now with this information, let's check header level data and the item level data. Okay. So this is the overview. So now let's first check the item level data, item level detail, display item details. So you can see here, this is the first line item, that is the item number 10. So we are using the item interval 10, 20, 30. So that is the reason why it is 10. The material is 264. So you can see here the item category is TAN. All right. So the item category is TAN. So, so we have to map the ERP item category with EWM item category, right? So this mapping is already done. So then in the sales related information, then sales B. So from logistics execution point of view, we have logistics organizational units like shipping point and loading point. So from outbound point of view, we require shipping point. Shipping point is mandatory. Let's check whether the shipping point is already determined. Under shipping node. So you can see here the shipping point 8901 is determined as per shipping point determination for a particular plant. So we can also specify the storage location from which we are planning to pick the stock from ERP point of view. It is AFS. AFS storage location. Right. So we have shipping point determination with a storage locations as well as without storage locations. So based on the configuration, the system has determined the shipping point 8901. Okay. So then similarly from billing point of view, different conditions are available. And now the schedule lines. So here I'm going to manually confirm the contract. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to confirm all the 10, right? So maintain the detail. Right. So item level data, then we can go back to the overview after maintaining the item level data. Then the header level data, header details, right, from sales point of view. So this is the sales area. The pricing procedure which is determined for this particular sales order, is the RVAA01, the standard one. From shipping point of view, from billing point of view, right? So all these details. So now we can go ahead and create this sales order. So let's go back to the overview. Now let's create the sales order. So for this particular customer, that is BP, as you can see here, we have maintained the business partner functions, right? So here in the sales order, sold to party and ship to party partner functions are required. So here, these two partner functions are also available. The system has determined these two partner functions. Now let's say, okay, click on edit to maintain the missing fields or mandatory fields. All right, so these fields are still missing. So let's maintain the fields like let's say the input term is CIF, cost, insurance, and freight. The input this one is let's say New York is the input term location. Then again click on edit next data. So here loading date, material level. Let's say today itself we are going to issue the goods. Today we are going to load. Yes, material availability date and the transportation planning date. That's it today itself. Now, with this information, we can go ahead and create a sales order. So the document is complete. So we can go ahead and save this document or create a sales order. Save. So the standard order 145 has been saved. Let's display this sales order. All right. So this is in the display mode now. Let's check the document flow of this particular sales order. So the document is created. We have not executed any subsequent transaction with reference to this sales order till now. Now the next step. After sales order, as per the process flow, here after sales order, so the sales order is created in SD module. Now, in order to deliver to the customer with reference to sales order as a preparation, outbound ERP outbound delivery will be created, which is part of logistics execution. All right. So let's create ERP outbound delivery. So for ERP outbound delivery, the transaction code is VL01N, and this is in the logistics execution module. So now I'm going to open a new window, and under logistics execution, outbound process, goods issue for outbound delivery, create outbound delivery single VL01N. Now input the shipping point and the sales order. All right. So here the sales order number is 145. That is correct. System is proposing the correct sales order number. We have to enter the shipping point as well. So the shipping point, the system has determined the shipping point. So we can check the shipping point here. For example, in the shipping, you can see here the system has determined the shipping point 8901. So let's input this shipping point. So we are planning to ship from 8901 shipping point. Okay, so all the line items we will be considering. So now continue. So this is the outbound delivery. Okay, so here, let's say the full quantity we are going to pick. So the delivery quantity, I'm not changing here. And so item overview. So in the item overview, the plant goods issue date, the total weight, which is calculated based on the whatever the the weight and dimensions which we have maintained in the material master record of this particular material 264. Okay, the picking from picking point of view. So you can see here the ERP warehouse, that is the intermediate warehouse, is determined as per storage location and plant combination. And for this particular intermediate warehouse, the distribution model is already generated. Hence, if we check, you can see here the information, the delivery can be successfully distributed. Right? Then from loading point of view, from shipment point of view. So here, the loading point, the shipment, right? And then a stock overview, goods movement. Okay. So again, item overview. We can check the detail of each item here in this delivery. And again, so you can see here the item category is TAN. If you remember in the document mapping and item mapping, yes, so here the output documents, which we discussed in detail in our last session. So a document mapping is required to make sure that, yes, so item category and item type in EWM, yes. So item types for outbound delivery, and there is a mapping as well. So define document type. So this we already completed. Now in ERP, it is TAN, okay? And in EWM, it is ODLV. So a line item detail in this delivery. So goods issue not yet started, billing not invoiced, the processing status, right? Picking, loading and shipment details are available. Now let's check the header level detail for the outbound delivery. So here, processing point of view, the status, then from picking. So decentralized warehouse, that is, it is relevant, right? So that is that this particular ERP inbound delivery will be distributed to EWM. So this is ERP warehouse number, right? And then from loading point of view, shipment point of view, so this is the shipping point, international trade, and here under the administration, so we need to check. So we need to check the document type. So as you can see, for ERP delivery, document type is LF, and the document category is T. So we have already mapped ERP document type LF with EWM document type OUTB in the document mapping. All right, this is already done. So let me show you again. So here in the SPRO, in our last session, we validated the mapping. SPRO reference IMG under SCM EWM interfaces, ERP integration, delivery processing. Here, map document types from ERP system to EWM. So you can see here this LF ERP document type. So in ERP outbound delivery, the document type is LF. This is our ERP outbound delivery, which is being created with a document type LF. So here LF is mapped to EWM document type OUTB. So as soon as ERP outbound delivery with a document type LF is successfully distributed to EWM, it will create EWM outbound delivery order with a document type OUTB. Similarly, we have mapped the item types from ERP system to EWM. So you can see here the document type is LF, which is at the header level. Now, if we check at the line item level, so at the line item, it is TAN, the item category. So document type and yes, so the document type TAN and the the document type LF, the item category TAN now map to ODLB item type in EWM. Okay, so now let's create outbound ERP outbound delivery with this information. So let's switch to overview. Now let's see. So outbound delivery 8000077 was saved and distributed to WML. So let's display. So as you can see, in the status bar a message delivery was distributed, therefore display only. Now let's check EWM delivery. So as soon as ERP outbound delivery is created, it will be distributed to EWM if we generate distribution model for our ERP warehouse. And it will create outbound delivery request in case of decentralized EWM. But in case of embedded one, it will directly create outbound delivery order. So if we compare the difference, right. So from a decentralized point of view, as soon as the ERP outbound delivery is created, as a result of successful distribution of ERP outbound delivery in EWM, a replica of ERP outbound delivery is created as a outbound delivery request. And then as soon as outbound delivery request is available, PPF action in EWM will create outbound delivery order. But in embedded EWM, there is no outbound delivery request. It will directly create outbound delivery order. Okay, so we will try to check both documents here and see. So now it is in EWM. So we need to process in EWM. So if we check the process now, so the first two steps are executed in ERP system. So ERP system may be ECC system or S/4HANA system. Once it is distributed, then we process it in EWM. So now in EWM, so if we see the steps, the second step is completed. Now the third step in EWM. So let's check both transactions in EWM. Let me disconnect and connect. Right. So I'm going to open a new window, Control N. So we will check both one by one. So in EWM, SCM EWM Launchpad, EWM delivery processing, inbound delivery, outbound delivery. So can you see here, maintain outbound delivery request, maintain outbound delivery order, maintain outbound delivery. So these are the three documents related to outbound delivery. So this outbound delivery request is actually a replica of ERP outbound delivery. So since we are using the embedded EWM, if we try to access this particular transaction or execute this one, let's see what happened. So you can see here, what's the message? In embedded EWM, the transaction or program is not supported in embedded one. This outbound delivery request. So we can see here that the outbound delivery request is not applicable for embedded EWM. For embedded EWM, outbound delivery request is not available. So directly the outbound delivery order. So now let's try to access this outbound delivery order. Outbound delivery order. So this is maintain outbound delivery order, maintain correct default values like warehouse number, shipping office. So this shipping office is nothing but a supply chain unit with a business attribute shipping office. So if you remember, while defining the supply chain units, different business attributes are assigned. So if we are, so let me show you the same again, so you will have better understanding. So if we check our supply chain unit document, so business attributes, list of business attributes I have provided. So which is EWM master data, the supply chain unit. So here, supply chain unit types here, yes. So these are the business attributes which we assign to our supply chain unit. So supply chain unit is nothing but a geographical location of the warehouse. And at a particular geographical location, or based on the type, based on the activities we would like to carry out, accordingly, the business attributes are assigned to it. So to our supply chain unit, which is 8901. So let me check which supply chain unit we have here. It is 8901 SCU, right? So if we check this particular supply chain unit, our supply chain unit. So here in master data maintain supply chain unit. So this particular business attribute is assigned Control N. So under SCM EWM master data. So this one, maintain supply chain unit. So if we see our supply chain unit, which is 8901 SCU. 8901 SCU. All right. So let's display this one. So this particular supply chain unit, in the alternative tab, 5 business attributes are assigned. One business attribute if we are managing the inventory within the warehouse, if we are receiving the goods, if we are shipping the goods. All right. So as shipping office. So that is the reason why you can see here in the default one, because of this business attribute shipping office. So the business attribute shipping office is assigned to the supply chain unit. If we assign if we assign a business attribute shipping office to a particular supply chain unit, then only we can ship from this geographical location. Then only the system will allow you to use this one as a shipping office. Okay. So now it is now perform search. Say yes. So you can see here now total 3 EWM outbound delivery orders are available. So the first 2 actually I created for testing purpose. Now the third one, which is just created as a result of successful distribution of ERP outbound delivery. So this is our ERP outbound delivery, which is distributed to EWM. So now let's verify with reference to which this EWM outbound delivery order is created. Click on the detail and here check the reference document. So as you can see here, this EWM outbound delivery is created with reference to EWM outbound delivery 8000077. Yes, that's correct. This is the, now we will process this outbound delivery. So in outbound delivery, always the first step while processing outbound delivery in EWM, always the first step is picking the stock from the source bin, picking bin. So currently the stock is available in primary area, that is 0050, and the reserve area. So we can verify here. In EWM monitor, we can see here the stock is available in 0010 storage type and in 0050 storage type. This is the stock here. So 0050 is our primary area. So the picking should happen from this storage type. Okay. So now, so I have not yet configured stock removal strategy from outbound point of view. So so I will manually enter the picking bin for stock removal. Later on, we will configure the stock removal strategy to automatically determine the picking bin. Okay. So here, in this particular EWM Outbound Delivery. Currently, only one line item is available, the 10 quantity, right? So, and this is with reference to the document. And here, the business partner is Accenture Federal Services. So we have not packed this material in any handling unit. So currently without handling unit. Okay. So the first step, so here I provided list of the steps in a particular order. So the picking is always the first step and goods issue is always the last step. So in between, we may have the steps like packing, VAS, then loading, and finally the goods issue. So first of all, we have to pick the stock, right? So for picking, which is a warehouse activity, So for every warehouse activity, we required a warehouse process type, a warehouse task. And for warehouse task, a warehouse process type. Okay. So for this, now let's check which warehouse process type is determined. Okay. So if we check the header level data of this outbound delivery, so the header, you can see here, this is EWM Outbound Delivery, which is created with a document type OUTB and the document category PDO. For the warehouse 8901 with the shipping office 8901 SU. Okay. Now let's check the detail at the line item level. So here, let's check which warehouse process type is determined. So ideally, the standard warehouse process type 2010 should be determined. So we can see here the warehouse process type 2010 is determined as per warehouse process type determination. So 2010 is for stock removal. And this is the warehouse process type which is used for simple outbound as well as complex outbound. So as per the stock removal strategy, as per the warehouse process type determination, the system has determined this one 2010. So if we check how the system has determined, let's check. So this is our SPRO here. So here determination, cross process setting, warehouse task, warehouse process type, then this 2010 for our warehouse. So if we check for our warehouse, it is 8901. And in this warehouse, we have defined a warehouse process type 2010. Actually, the warehouse process types are also copied from a reference warehouse due to copy warehouse customizing. So if we check, so the warehouse process category for this warehouse process type is 2, which is related to stock removal, and the activity is picking. All right. And we can also see here, so the destination storage data is maintained. So the destination storage data, which is nothing but our stage, the staging bay, a default staging bay for, right? So a default staging bay for goods issue is maintained here. All right. And the picking bin will be determined from a stock removal strategy, or we will enter it manually. But the destination bin for, right? So the destination storage type data for simple outbound, which is nothing but a staging bay here in this staging area, right? It is maintained. So because of this, so you can see here in our outbound delivery, system has determined this staging bay. Because in this warehouse process type 2010, this is the warehouse process type 2010. In this warehouse process type 2010, in our warehouse 8901, the default is destination storage data we have maintained. And the same default storage data is determined here. Okay. the warehouse process type. Now let's check how the system has determined this particular warehouse process type, why not other. So for this, determine warehouse process type. So if we check for our warehouse, which is 8901, continue. So for our warehouse 8901, for the document type, what is the document type of our outbound delivery order here? The document type is OUTB. For our warehouse, if we have a document type, a delivery with a document type OUTB, right? So as you can see, for a warehouse 8901, a delivery with a document type OUTB, right? System should determine a warehouse process type 2010. Okay, so if we define warehouse process type determination indicator and assign to the product, then accordingly we can determine any warehouse process type. So because of this setting, system has determined 2010, right? So that if the document type is OUTB, yes, the document type of this EWM outbound delivery is OUTB. Any item type, right? Any delivery priority and without warehouse process type determination indicator, system should determine 2010. All right. So now, so if we check our product and or this process type determination indicator. So let's check the product, which is /n/SCWM/MAT1, right? So MAT1, the product MAT1, maintain warehouse product. So if we check the setting of our product 264 and display, the warehouse process data, right? All right. So here SP from simple inbound point of view is assigned. That is the simple process. So here from inbound point of view, if the warehouse process type determination is indicator is SP, yes. So as you can see here, from inbound point of view, when EWM inbound delivery is created with a document type INP and a product with a warehouse process type determination indicator SP, then it should determine 1010. Okay. So similarly, we can also maintain for our outbound without in product indicator as well as with indicator. Now I'm going to copy this one and even we can use the one indicator for inbound as well as outbound. So same indicator now I'm trying to use for inbound as well as for outbound to determine the warehouse process type. Right? So here, deselect all. So what I'm SP, right? So new entry, warehouse 8901. If the document type is OUTB from outbound point of view, which is outbound delivery order. So you can see here, all the defined document types are available. So in embedded EWM, outbound delivery order and outbound delivery, only these two documents are applicable. But in case of decentralized one, outbound delivery request is also applicable. All right. So now this is for outbound delivery order. Any item type, any delivery priority. However, but when the warehouse process type determination indicator is SP, right? So we can change the description as well. So SP we can use for simple process. So then the system should determine the warehouse process type 2010. So for different combination, we can maintain the warehouse process type. Okay. So this is also added. Now let's go back to our outbound delivery. So this is how the system has determined the warehouse process type and the staging bay. Okay. So the party, the custodian, the party entitled to dispose, and the current stock type is F2, right? Only as F2 stock type we can issue. So the next step is, right. So if we check the item types which are determined here, you see the item category and item type, item category DLV and the item type ODLV, which we mapped with ERP item type. So a TAN with EWM item type ODLV along with ERP document type LF. All right. So now let's switch to the list view. Let's switch to list view. So the next step. So in outbound process, always the first step is picking, and picking is a warehouse activity. And for every warehouse activity, we required a warehouse task. So now let's first try to understand what is picking process. Picking. So the picking process is performed manually based on a printed warehouse order if the RF device is not used. Or if RF device is not used, then we use the RF device. So the picking process is performed manually based on a printed warehouse order or by using the RF device that contains picking related information. Right. So the picking process is performed manually based on a printed. Of course, the picking will be performed manually with reference to warehouse order document, printed document, or by using the RF device. So the picking process is performed manually based on printed warehouse order that contains picking related information or via the RF, because in RF, the picking information will be available. So in the picking information means the source storage data, destination storage data, warehouse process type, quantity, product, right? So the warehouse operator confirms that picking task after physically carrying out the stock from the source bin to destination bin. So for example, let's say system has determined a source, a system has determined a picking bin, which is a source bin, right? And then the warehouse operator will pick the stock and move the stock to the destination bin. And for picking, the warehouse operator will use a pick HU, all right, to pick and move the stock to the destination bin. So the pick HU is mandatory in case of complex outbound process, but it is not mandatory in simple. So today I am executing the simple outbound. Tomorrow the complex outbound. So in complex outbound, the picking HU is mandatory, which is nothing but like a shopping cart or a shopping bag or a tote box. Okay. So this can involve moving stock directly to goods issue area or moving via multiple intermediate locations for different processes like packing, VAS, etc. So as shown in the figure, using process-oriented storage control. So as we know, if we include the storage control in our process like inbound and outbound, so it becomes complex process. So here, so while explaining the complex outbound scenario, we'll discuss in detail about pick HU. So this is about picking process. So now for picking process, whether it is a simple outbound or complex outbound, a warehouse task is created. So currently the picking status not yet started, packing not started, loading not started, goods issue not started. Right? This is the current status. So let's first create the warehouse task for picking. So as we know, we can create warehouse tasks from maintain outbound delivery or from the monitor. So now let's create from here. Follow on task. Again, I'm just going back to show you the same thing. So first of all, select the delivery. for which we would like to create a warehouse task for picking, then outbound delivery order menu, follow on functions and warehouse task. So we can also use control F1 to create. So this is create warehouse task screen. So here, in order to create a warehouse task, we require source storage data and destination storage data. So the destination storage data is available because we have maintained a staging bay as a default staging bay, right? That is the destination storage data. Now I'm going to enter manually the source storage data. So here, go to the default values. So you can see here, the destination storage data is available. Now I'm maintaining the source storage data, entering the data manually because we have not yet maintained or defined the stock removal strategy. So now, so here, if we check the stock, yes. So 0050 is our primary area. So in our primary area, in this particular bin, this much quantity is currently available. So we can pick from primary area. In case if the stock is not available in primary area, then reserve area. Since the stock is available in the primary area, so the primary area, the source storage data. So here the primary area is 0050 storage type, and in 0050 storage type, 0001 section, and in this section the stock is available here in first bin. So that is the reason why all the bins are empty except the first bin, because whenever we have the stock, it will not be empty. So now I'm manually entering it, press enter. Now, after maintaining the source storage data and destination storage data, we will create plus save the warehouse task for picking. So as you can see, in order to create a warehouse task, a warehouse process type is required, which is determined, quantity, product, and the stock type should be F2. And now the source and destination storage data. So required data is maintained. So let's go ahead and create. So, so first of all, select the warehouse request. So as we know, now from outbound delivery point of view, warehouse, the EWM outbound delivery order is a warehouse request, because with reference to warehouse outbound delivery order, we are carrying out different warehouse activities, like now the first picking, then loading, and then goods issue. So a warehouse document is a document with reference to which warehouse activities are carried out. So in case of inbound, the inbound delivery. So in case of outbound, outbound delivery order. So now let's create plus save. So as you can see, a warehouse order is created, and actually a warehouse task is created and assigned to this warehouse order as per warehouse order creation rule. So now let's confirm the warehouse order and check the warehouse task in detail. So you can see here, this is the warehouse task 1042. Currently this warehouse task is open, and the warehouse task with a category for stock removal, it is created. It is 2, warehouse process type 2010 for the product 264. The destination storage data, then source storage data, quantity 10, source destination source storage data picking, which is entered manually, stock type F2, party entitled to dispose, date, time, other details are available. So we can, and the warehouse order creation rule, the default one. So we will be discussing about warehouse order creation rule in our complex outbound process. So we can confirm here. So the warehouse task was created and assigned to this particular warehouse order, right? So we can confirm at the warehouse order level. So all the warehouse tasks within the warehouse order will be confirmed, or we can confirm at the warehouse task level. So now I'm confirming at warehouse order level. So confirm plus save. So before we confirm, let's check the status. Now I'm going to refresh. So this was the status before creating the warehouse task. Now after creating the warehouse task, I'm going to refresh to check the status in both in EWM as well as in ERP. Now in EWM, since a warehouse task is created to move to pick 10 pieces out of 108. So, so you will see 10 as outgoing quantity from this one and 10 incoming quantity for our staging bay. So currently there is no stock in staging bay in 9020. So refresh. Can you see here? Out of 108 quantity, 10 quantity outgoing, and that is the reason why available quantity is 98. And for our staging bay, so this is source bin, destination bin for our picking warehouse task. So for destination bin, incoming quantity 10. Because a warehouse task is just created, not yet confirmed. As soon as it is confirmed, it will be confirmed based on the warehouse operator physical movement. So as soon as warehouse operator pick the stock from source bin and move to the destination bin, and then we will confirm in the system. As soon as we confirm, there will not be any outgoing and incoming quantity. The actual stock will reflect in the destination bin. Now let's check the stock in ERP. Is there any change here? So this was the status before creating the warehouse task in EWM. Now refresh. In ERP, there is no change. Only in EWM, the incoming and outgoing quantity and available quantity changes. Now I'm going to confirm the warehouse task, and then we will check the status of inventory. Confirm plus save. So warehouse task confirmed for warehouse order 1235. Let's check the status of this warehouse order now. So the warehouse outbound delivery order. So now you can see as a result of confirming the picking warehouse task, the status of picking has changed to completed. Okay, only picking is completed. Now, after picking is completed, let's check the status in EWM as well as in ERP. So before confirming the warehouse task for picking, outgoing quantity from source bin, incoming quantity to destination bin. Now, after confirming the picking warehouse task, I'm going to refresh. So as soon as I refresh, there will not be any outgoing quantity and incoming quantity. The available and total quantity here in the source bin will be 98 and available quantity in destination bin will be 10. Now you can see here, there is no outgoing or incoming quantity. The available quantity and total quantity 98 because 10 out of 108 quantity, 10 quantity already picked up and moved to the destination bin. Hence, in the destination bin, available quantity is 10. Okay. Now let's check in ERP after picking. No changes in ERP because right. So no changes because here the stock is moved from a bin in 0050. Let's say this is the bin to a bin in a staging bay. So which is under the warehouse, but the movement is within the warehouse. And these storage types 0050 and 0020 are assigned to availability group 0020 and 0020 availability group is assigned to AFS. So whether the stock is available in 0050 or in 00 or in 9020, it in ERP it will reflect in AFS. So hence there is no change in ERP. Hence there is no change in ERP. Now the next step. Once we have picked the stock and brought to the staging bay, then load onto the truck and post the goods issue. Select load. The status will change from not started to completed. So activity was carried out successfully. Now, after completing the load activity, let's check the status. No changes in EWM. No changes in ERP. Now, the next step is goods issue. So when we issue goods to the customer with reference to this outbound delivery order, the quantity will reduce, right? The stock will reduce. So what we are actually doing, so in EWM, so whatever the stock which is available here in the staging bay, we have loaded onto the truck. Now we are issuing this one. So 10 will be minus. So nothing will be left here in 9020, and 10 when we issue, 10 will also minus from ERP. So out of 335, so 335 minus 10 to 25. So goods issue. So here, let's try to understand the load and the goods issue. So the loading I completed. You use the loading process to load vehicles and transportation units. For simple loading process, you load deliveries or handling units and thereby automatically triggering a status change. Yes, so as you can see here, for loading in the simple outbound process, we just click on load. So as soon as we click on load, the status of loading changes to completed. So right, so automatically trigger a status change. But in case of complex outbound scenario, even for loading, we will create warehouse task. Okay, so this is loading. Now the next step is goods issue. Let's try to understand what is goods issue. So goods issue for an outbound delivery in the warehouse management systems include picking and goods issue posting for a material to be delivered. So based on outbound delivery. So if you map goods issue process via an outbound delivery, you can execute the process is related to goods issue within the warehouse, right? So yes, within the EWM, we have been, so we are picking, then loading and posting. So before you trigger actual posting. So the purpose of goods issue, the purpose is to issue goods from the warehouse, typically for customer orders, production needs, right? For different purpose. So in this initiation trigger, so GI is triggered by a sales order or outbound delivery or a stock transport order. Okay. So here the impact. So GI decreases inventory levels as items are removed from stock for outbound process. So the inventory level will reduce in EWM as well as in ERP. So if we check in EWM, the stock is 340, and in ERP, so here in EWM, the F2 stock type is, we can apply the filter and check, because here different stock types are available. So now I am applying a filter and I would like to check only the F2 stock type, because F2 is the stock which is actually available for sale. So you see, F2 stock type, how much is available? Available quantity, total 335. And in ERP also, unrestricted use stock in AFS 335. Okay, so out of this stock, only unrestricted stock from ERP point of view, in from AFS, and F2 stock type from EWM point of view. This is the only stock which is will be picked for outbound delivery or to issue to the production. So now 335 completely available. Then now let's post the goods issue. The next step, the last step. Now I'm going to post goods issue. So as a result of posting the goods issue, what happened? The goods issue decreases inventory level as items are removed from the stock and the document flow. So the outbound delivery document and warehouse tasks are created to manage and track outbound delivery. So what happened? So the stock level will reduce, and as a result, when we post goods issue with a reference to outbound delivery order, currently we are in outbound delivery order. So when we post goods issue with reference to outbound delivery order, so for every goods issue, outbound delivery will be created. As soon as outbound delivery will be created, it will trigger goods issue in ERP. And for every goods movement, like goods issue and goods receipt, material document and accounting documents are created in ERP. Okay, so here, so if we check the flow, you can see with reference to outbound delivery order, when we post goods issue, it for every goods issue, outbound delivery order will be created. And once, so here, first stock posting, that is stock removal was executed. Then now I'm posting the goods issue. So as soon as I post goods issue in EWM, it will trigger a goods issue in ERP with a movement type 601 in the plant and in the storage location AFS. So goods issue posting will be triggered in ERP system. Okay, so now let's check this one. So select the EWM or the EWM outbound delivery order with reference to which we would like to post the goods issue. Post the goods issue. So as you can see, this activity was also carried out successfully. As a result, the goods issue status is changed to completed, and the overall status is also completed. Now, after goods issue, let's check the inventory levels in EWM as well as in ERP. So first in EWM. So as soon as I refresh, nothing will left in 9020 because this is the quantity which is issued in the staging bay. So now refresh. So 10 quantity will be minus. So the remaining will be 325. Nothing left in staging bay. The quantity 325. Now let's check in ERP. So in ERP also 10 minus, refresh. So here the quantity is not changed. So it means the queue is stuck. We will try to fix why the queue is stuck. So to check the queues, now I'm going to open a new window, SMQ2 first. So in SMQ2, check the queues. So 75, let me check our ERP. Yeah, it is 77. So this is different. So this is 75. Now let's check in. So this our outbound delivery is not stuck in SMQ2. So now we need to check in SMQ1. Okay, so this is in SMQ1. So can you see here our delivery 77 outbound delivery is stuck. Now let's check the detail of this delivery. So system failed. What happened? Right. So we need to log in again. So select the queue name, click on activate queue, continue. Now log in again. So here. Now if I refresh, the status will change. You see, nothing. So the queue which was stuck is now successfully distributed to ERP from EWM. Now nothing is left here. No queue is stuck. Now if we check our ERP quantity, so it will be updated. The quantity will reduce from 335 to 325. 10 pieces minus. You see, now it is 325. So we can keep track of it. For example, now I'm selecting the quantity at the storage location level, right click, materials movement, and check the movement. So you can see here just now today 10 quantity minus with a movement type 601. So yes, the movement type 601, movement type 601, plant and storage location, which is triggered in ERP. So let's open this document to know more about this material document, the the movement. So a material document is created as a result of posting goods issue of this particular material 264 10 pieces where from AFS storage location of plant 8901 the unrestricted use quantity to customer Accenture Federal Services, the GL account, and the warehouse management. So it is actually processed at the warehouse level 8901, and this is the warehouse task number. And a corresponding accounting document is also generated in the background. We actually processed in EWM, and it is reflecting in ERP because of ERP and EWM integration. Okay. Meanwhile, let me check the sales order. Document flow of sales order. At the sales order level, let's check the document flow. Right. So can you see here? This is the sales order. With reference to this sales order, ERP outbound delivery is created, and in EWM, we pick the stock, load it, and then finally posted the goods issue. So here, goods issue is also available here, and refresh displaying the material document. So here, yes. So can you see here? 239, 49 triple zero double zero 239 is actually the material document number, which is also updated in the sales order document flow. Now, if we go to now, so as a result of posting the goods issue in EWM, the goods issue is also triggered in ERP, and material document was generated in the foreground, and a corresponding accounting document was generated in the background. Right? So in both in EWM as well as in ERP, the quantity is updated. Okay. So today I demonstrated the simple inbound process. And now also let's check the status of ERP inbound delivery. Okay. So if we see, let me start over again this one. This is ERP outbound delivery. So let's display. So it will refresh and update. So let's see what is the status change at the header level. Processing. So you can see here. Yes. So it is decentralized warehouse. Yes, the deliveries are already distributed. Okay, goods issue not updated. So it should change the status. Let me check. Picking, distributed, loading, shipment. Let's check at the item level. Goods movement data. Right. Okay. So in ERP, let me try again, because the status also should change in ERP. Okay, in ERP outbound delivery. So because sometime, because of, so sometime it takes time, few seconds or few minutes to update. It will also update in ERP. So this is the ERP outbound delivery. So let me display. The sales order is updated. Now we are checking our outbound delivery. Yes, can you see here? Goods movement completed. No movement is left. Okay. The header level, if we see the processing, so decentralized warehouse confirmed, meaning it is all of this. So here, you see the different status, not relevant, relevant. So when we try to create, when we are in the process of creating the delivery, if it is related to EWM, then it will show status as relevant. Once it is distributed, then distributed. Once we complete the process, then confirmed. Okay, so then you can also see the goods issue is also completed, but the invoice is not invoiced. So right, so from logistics point of view, it is completed. So yeah, we can check the document flow at the ERP outbound delivery level as well. So here you can see this is the outbound delivery status overview, detail of this delivery. All right. So both systems are updated. Both systems are sync. So in our next session, I will process. In next session, we will discuss the outbound, the complex outbound process, and first of all, we will configure the stock removal strategy to determine the picking bin automatically, and then we will configure the complex outbound scenario. All right. Yes. So any question before we conclude today's session?
Thanks. So, you created the outbound delivery in ERP with respect to the sales order. There was another option without reference. So, suppose, I mean, do we ever use if people don't want to go through all the set up a sales order, uh, then can they use the process? Is it applicable for regular production or one-off scenario?
So because generally from outbound point of view, if we look at this one, right? So in order to deliver to the customer, right? So of course we require documents from customers like the purchase order. So the purchase order will be issued by the customer. Once we have the purchase order available, to process the customer purchase order, sales department will create an internal sales document called sales order. And in the sales order, all the details related to material, supply, customer, price, everything maintained. And then once the sales order is available, to deliver to the customer as per the standard process, outbound delivery is created. So outbound delivery is created with reference to the sales order. Okay. So if we check the transaction related to the outbound delivery, so here is our outbound delivery. So when we try to create outbound delivery with reference to sales order, even without reference is also both options. So here we just need to specify the shipping point and without the sales order. But most of the cases, it is with reference to sales order. Okay. So this is the standard process.
From data perspective, there is no difference between all the data, even without reference also, are we going to have all the applicable fields available for the outbound delivery if we create
So
without reference?
what happened, as we know that due to copy control, the data is copied from one document to another document. So what happened when we create with reference to sales data, the required data will be copied from sales order to the outbound delivery. If it is without reference, then we have to maintain all the required information.
But once we maintain, then like the outbound delivery, there won't be any difference in the way that outbound delivery behaves
Yes,
as far as the process is
yes,
concerned.
yes, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, from EWM point of view, we require outbound delivery order. And this order will be distributed to EWM, not the sales order. So we required outbound delivery order in ERP.
Yeah. So somebody who has set up, okay, suppose automated interface, if they receive the purchase order into their
Yes.
system and then they can automatically create the outbound delivery and
No,
still.
no. Because once we are creating the purchase order, once we receive the customer, let's say we have an interface between our system and our customer system. So as soon as
Mhm.
our customer issues a purchase order due to interface, through interface, we receive purchase order and our system will create a sales order with reference to purchase order. Once sales order is available, then to process it, outbound delivery is created. So generally, the outbound delivery is not directly created with reference to purchase order of the customer. So first sales order is created.
Even if you go through without reference also, like if you set up the without reference process.
So without reference, here, if we check the sales order without reference, so for example, here, okay, shipping point, delivery type LF. Let me see here, LF. So with outbound delivery, decentralized customer or without reference, right? So you can see here, we need to maintain similar details. Same the tabs, same fields. Okay.
So it
At the end, we
is it
require
possible to convert the PO into this? That's what my question is, without going through the sales order. Suppose if they
uh,
don't want to have, I mean, sales
so
consultant, SD consultant.
as we know through development, we can do it, but as a standard process through sales order. As soon as the standard process which is available and the best practices and which is recommended is as soon as we receive the purchase order, right, then it should be a sales order. Yes, if we do the development, it is possible to create outbound delivery without creating the sales order with reference to the purchase order.
Okay.
But that is not the standard process. And it is
And
also not
one more
recommended.
thing, the TU is going to be created as I mean, when the loading step is completed, when does it create the TU for the
So
outbound
here,
delivery?
what happened? TU comes into picture if we are managing the yard management. If we are using the yard management or transportation management, then TU comes into picture. Since we have not discussed both, that is the reason why I have not explained in detail.
At what step does it come into picture? Okay, after picking and at the time loading, or okay, when does it?
Yes, at the time of loading.
So when we say TUs, when it's going to create the TU only when the loading step is confirmed.
So here, what happened for loading? Right. So we have to load vehicle or transportation units, right?
Mhm.
So vehicle and transportation unit is applicable if we are using the yard management or transportation management. So both we have not discussed them. So that is the reason why no, we have not created the TU till now. Okay.
I'm just asking from the status
Yeah,
point
that
of
is
view.
yeah, that is fine. Yeah, that is absolutely fine. Okay. Yes. Any other question here?
No, okay, still like I just need the answer. So
All right.
before,
Okay.
so
So
we
uh,
don't have the I mean yard management and all. But my question is, from the process point of view, okay, when it shows the picking completed, I mean then at that point we're not going to have the TU, right? Or only when
No,
the
no.
loading step is completed, that's when we're going to have the TU. When is it
Yes,
applicable? Suppose.
right. Because you see here, picking is internal process, right?
Hmm.
Picking is internal process. Picking, let's say, from a primary bin and bringing it to the destination bin. So it is within the warehouse, right? So the transportation unit or the vehicle is in the yard or outside of the warehouse. So in order to use the transportation unit or the vehicle, we need to activate yard management or transportation management. And vehicle and transportation unit comes into picture when we are loading it, right? So for example, let me show you this one to have more clarity. So yard management. So the area outside the warehouse, which is not enclosed, where vehicles and transportation units are parked. So during outbound, we load the vehicles or transportation unit, and during inbound, we unload the vehicle and transportation unit. And if you would like to use them, then we have to activate yard management or the transportation management. And when we are using transportation management, then definitely the yard management as well. So vehicle or transportation unit will come into picture when we are loading it. Clear?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
All right. So now let's conclude today's session and see you in the next session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.